And speaking of additional things, I'm sure you noticed on the page it says plus one free intro lesson. And so what that typically turns out to be is we can either tack it on to the end, an extra 30 minutes on today's session, which I don't think we'll need. But typically what I use it for is like a 30-minute checkup a couple days later, just to make sure that you haven't ran into any issues or have any other questions or anything. Sorry, my cat is going a little crazy right now.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. And if we do end up going over in time, then would you be comfortable with using it right away?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's just kind of how that works out, but that's only for the first session.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm really just looking for the basics here. Like I'm pretty good with music theory, and I don't need anything advanced. So I think this might just be a one-time thing, but yeah, we'll have to see.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Couple quick questions. Are you running on Mac or PC?
I'm running on a PC. I'm running on a laptop. I figured I should use the machine that I want to be using Ableton from. If it's not powerful enough, I can move to my desktop, but that would require installing a bunch of stuff. And so I figure I should just use the machine that already has the sound library and everything.
Yeah, you should be fine. Ableton's not super consuming in terms of CPU. PC, you got the EWI. Any other gear that's you think you'll be using that we might need to go over today?
I mean, I do. I didn't install it in time for the meeting, so I think I may just want to skip it to save time. I got this like Yeti, the like high quality
Nice.
thing, but I don't really need help with that. I can figure that out on my own.
Yeah.
So, but just know that whatever, as long as at some point in the meeting you can point out where I would go to change my microphone, then it should be fine. Yeah, I think just the difference between changing between my headset and the laptop would give me enough tools to be able to use this thing. But yeah, besides that, it's just the EWI right here.
Cool. And final question, are those wired or wireless headphones?
These are wireless via Bluetooth.
Okay, I would highly recommend at least getting a if it's got the ability to plug in.
Yeah, it does. Here, let me get that. Yeah, the cord's right here, and it's got a 3.5 millimeter.
The main reason just being that the latency and the delay from what you're playing to what you're hearing with Bluetooth headphones on it's jarring enough to make your playing ability very hindered. And a wired connection has significantly less delay.
All right. Yeah, good to know. 1 second. Okay, great. And then I do have my keyboard here, which I could use as a MIDI, but the whole point of this is to avoid using the keyboard. So
absolutely.
Right. This hole, let's see.
Awesome. So the way I typically do this is I'll make it set it up to where you can share your screen, and then I can just walk you through it on your end. Cool. So you should be able to do that now. Feel free to whenever you'd like. I cannot hear you at the current moment.
How about right now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah, and I can hear you. Okay, yeah, so I lost noise canceling, but that's okay. Not the end of the world. All right, yeah, so let's get into it. Share screen, you probably have to approve it.
I've made you the co-host.
There we go, perfect.
So, yep.
All right, so yeah, as you can tell, brand new with this, I'm still at the welcome screen, so.
Awesome. So have you already bought a license from Ableton's website?
Yeah, and I have it registered. I just haven't
yeah, if you
authorized it, I guess.
If you hit that authorize with Ableton.com, it'll just take you to Ableton's website, and all you got to do is sign in, and then it'll link it. It's about like a 30-second process.
Okay,
and,
so it's worth it.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, as long as it's quick. 1 second.
Yeah.
Here, 1 second. I'm gonna stop share just while I log in.
Absolutely.
I probably did that too early. 1 second. I don't know where to go.
All good.
This is awkward. Yeah. That's why. Okay. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And all you got to do is log in with the email you purchased your Ableton license on. And by the way, you'll find I'm not a stickler about time. Like I don't count the intro conversation towards the time, and I'm usually very liberal with the time. I'm fine to go over as long as I don't have another session immediately afterwards. I'm almost always fine giving some extra time at the end for free. So
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that.
No need to worry about that. Because I
There
know a
we
lot
go.
of it is just like tedious stuff like this where I'm not actually, teaching you anything. So I'd hate to charge you for that.
Okay, so I logged in. It's asking me for light. I don't really know what I'm looking at here. It's asking me for all this stuff, but I thought I already downloaded all this stuff. And
yep. So if you go up to it should be under account or order history.
Okay, so account or
And
order history. Yeah, let's do order history.
we could probably go back to account. I'd say that's the better way of going about it. So you can authorize. So if you'll go to this tab, let me get the annotate tool. If you'll go to here, where
I
it
didn't
says here,
realize Zoom
so
could do that. That's a lifesaver. Okay.
cool. So if you'll scroll down a little bit. Yeah. So I think it was up at the view serial numbers. So if you'll scroll down a little bit more. Okay. So select your live licenses from the list.
So should I close and reopen Ableton or?
Yeah, I would say, oh, there we go. It
Okay.
auto did it. Perfect.
Great.
Great. So Ableton basics.
Mhm.
So there are two ways to work in Ableton, two different views we can work in. We have session view, which is what we're looking at right now. And we have a thing called arrangement view, which is what you're going to be using 99% of the time. Session view is mainly for live performance, like if you're wanting to do live looping or things like that, or DJ kind of stuff. And there's not really much of a practical use of it in terms of just recording and writing, composing music. So we're going to be working in arrangement view.
Okay, I would like to know how to do both, just because part of the appeal of the EWI is that like the audio comes out of the speaker, and so if I can get the EWI working in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. For right now, let's work in arrangement mode just to show you the thing you'll probably be using more. So to access arrangement view, it's going to be the tab key on your keyboard.
Just 1 second, sorry, I'm missing a very necessary chord for the EWI. What is that? Perfect. I already took it out. Okay, can you repeat that one more time?
Yes, so to switch back and forth between session and arrangement view, it's going to be the tab key on your keyboard.
Okay. That's looking a little bit more familiar.
Okay. Yeah. Probably the main difference that you're not used to as compared to something like Audacity or FL is that all the stuff you're used to seeing on the left is on the right, like the track names and all those things. So this is our default Ableton session. You can always have a different template or a preset template be your blank set, but this is what it comes with. It comes with 2 MIDI tracks, 2 audio tracks, a reverb, delay, and a master track. I'm sure, as you know, audio tracks are for recording stuff with a mic or using like loops, audio files, stuff like that. MIDI is what we're going to be using for the EWI. So it comes defaulted to being fully blank, but giving us good options in terms of creating tracks. So let's
Could
talk.
you potentially add more audio? Like,
Yep.
Okay.
With the standard version, I think you can add up to 200 MIDI and audio tracks.
Should be fine. All right.
Yeah. Cool. So let's go to the options tab at the top of Ableton. Yep.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to the very bottom to preferences.
1 second. I'm going to start getting this ready. Do that. Should I plug the EWI in before I start Ableton, or does it not matter? Or?
It shouldn't matter.
Okay, cool.
So we have a bunch of customization things that we don't really need to worry about right now. You can change things like the color scheme and the size, but the main thing we're looking for is this audio tab right here.
Okay, one second. I know it like dark theme, so okay, cool.
And also, if you're a super visual person, there are external color schemes you can download. So if you want like purples and blues and stuff, you know.
No, that's fine.
Cool. So this is going to be kind of our main menu that we need to be aware of anytime we're working in Ableton. So the two things we always want to look at is going to be our audio input device and our audio output device. Kind of should be the first thing you check anytime you open up a new session. For right now, since you're not going to be recording with a microphone, we can set this top one to none because we don't want to be recording with a microphone right now. And then this is going to be where are we playing our sound out of. And it's fully personal preference. If you want laptop speakers or if your headphones are an option.
What am I looking at with the DX versus Wave?
So it depends on what version of Windows you're running. DX is the more reliable one. Wave is supposed to be higher quality, but I've ran into more issues with it.
Yeah, I'll go for stability then. Okay, Well, yeah, I'm running Windows 10.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll just keep it like that. That's fine.
So the only other things we kind of really need to be concerned about is the stuff under this latency tab. So we have this thing called buffer size. And what buffer size is more or less how hard are we going to make your computer work to get Ableton running smoothly. So by default, it's going to have a pretty high number to make it an easy workload on Ableton. But the lower we go with this number, it's going to be chew up a little bit more CPU, but it's going to be less delay in your headphones.
Oh, well, I'm all about that then. Yeah.
So
what do you think? Like, what do you think is healthy? Oh, sorry, going the wrong way. Yeah.
So a good way of knowing is you see this output latency. It'll tell you how many milliseconds of delay from what you're playing to you hearing it in your headphones is. I typically try to recommend under 10 if possible, under 10 milliseconds of delay.
So turn it down then.
Yes.
Okay. Let's keep it like,
And I will say 256 is the standard, but I've also seen 550 used pretty often, but we're really looking for at least less than 15 milliseconds of delay because anything above that, it's going to start to throw off your sense of timing.
All right, that should be fine.
Outside of that, we don't really have to worry about anything else for right now, but just know if you're not hearing audio, first thing you should check is this audio output device. And whenever you do use your Yeti, this is going to be where you're going to go to select that Yeti to record with.
Gotcha.
But if you're not going to be recording your microphone, it's just going to chew up unnecessary CPU. So you might as well just have it set to none.
Great. And is test tone what I think it is, where it will test the settings I just did, or is that something else?
No, that's exactly right.
Here, do you mind if I test it real quick? I just want to see if the. So yeah, the audio is not coming out. So
let's try Wave. Yep.
There we go. Yeah, now it's coming out.
All right. We will need to, since we switched, we will need to relower the buffer size.
Got it. Yeah, sorry, my mouse is not on a mouse pad, so it's a little glitchy. There you go.
Awesome. But yeah, just know anytime you're having issues, this should be like step number one for troubleshooting is checking your input and output device. I'd say if you're not hearing audio about 80% of the time, it's that one of those isn't set right.
Great.
Awesome. Any questions on any of that?
No, and yeah, I mean, honestly, it's looking a lot more familiar now that I knew to hit tab. Like if it was starting like this, I think I probably could have figured it out, but just something about the other view really threw me off.
Awesome. So we can X out of our preferences. And just a couple of things of what we're seeing up here. To be honest with you, a lot of the stuff up top is kind of unnecessary if you're not going to be working with session view for right now. We're not. So the main things to note as of right now is this little keyboard icon up top. This is for musical typing. So let's say you don't have a MIDI controller hooked up and you still want to play MIDI notes. Whenever that's highlighted, it's actually allowing you to use your QWERTY keyboard to play it like a piano.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll need that at some point.
I will say for right now, it's better to have it off just so you don't accidentally start triggering a bunch of notes. So we can go ahead and deselect that.
Great. My ultimate goal is, maybe I have an unrealistic view of what this looks like, is I'd love to like set the tempo, hear a metronome, and then like, let's say that there's like 8 bars that I select. I just want to like be able to do like an 8-bar solo on the EWI and then have it be transposed there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that can be done.
In terms of whenever you say transposed,
I mean like the inputs get put in and then into like suddenly a violin's playing the notes I just played.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I used the wrong word, but yeah.
So one other thing to note is you see this kind of percent flickering thing up top.
Mhm.
This is how much of your computer's CPU is Ableton chewing up. If that gets above 40, that's cause for concern, and you might need to close out of other programs and stuff. You shouldn't be getting that high, honestly, unless you're running a bunch of crazy stuff, but just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, because I do run a bunch of crazy stuff, so that'll be good.
Very cool. So getting to the stuff that you're more comfortable with, let's look at the top left-hand corner of Ableton. So we have this thing that says 120. That's our tempo.
Perfect.
You can click on that and you can type in a new value, or you can click and drag up or down.
Oh, and it adjusts the timescale accordingly.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah, so our rulers are top is bars, beats, and our bottom is minutes, seconds. So, it'll show you if we're at, 87, that roughly 8 bars is going to be about 16 seconds, roughly. Another great feature of Ableton is the button to the left of that says tap. Let's say you don't have a particular tempo in mind. You can actually click your mouse 4 times on that tap button, and it'll figure out what tempo you just tapped.
Where's the tap button?
It's to the very left of that tempo thing that you just
tap. Okay. And can you repeat again? Where's there like a bars view as opposed to seconds view? Because I see the seconds right here.
So bars is going to be up top.
Okay, so let's get something a little bit more even. Sorry, the mouse is having a hard time on my bed, which is where I have everything set at the moment. So what's like
a pretty even one will be 130.
Okay.
That'll have it
Perfect.
to where I think at the minute mark, it's almost exactly at 32 bars, or as close as you can be.
Okay.
So you can choose the meter right here. So if you're working in something other than
that.
You can type in any numbers that you want.
Can you get like weird with it? Can you get like,
oh yeah, you can go like 5/4. Oh no, that's not that weird, but you can get super weird with it.
Okay.
I'm
keeping it 4/4 though.
To the right of this, the 2 dots is our metronome.
Oh, cool. That's built in. Okay. I literally have a physical one here just in case. Okay.
Yeah. So if you click that, the metronome will be active. There's a little drop down arrow, and this will also give you the option for count in and what sound the metronome is playing, and then what rhythm the metronome is playing. It defaults to doing it on quarter notes. And I typically say count in of 1 bar is a great starting point. And then, as of right now, it's set up to where if you hit play or you start recording, you're going to be getting a bar of count in and then a metronome going at 130 and 4/4 for the duration of the recording.
Right.
Now, in terms of how to play and hear this in live time, so if you see this little kind of hidey blue arrow right here, it's real small.
Where?
It's right.
Okay, right there. Yeah.
Yep. So this is what we call the playhead. If you click your mouse kind of anywhere in this blank space, you'll see that it
okay.
moves.
Yeah, it's like Audacity. Yeah.
And so wherever that is selected is where it's going to play or record from. So right now, if you were to hit record, it would start recording at bar 1. But if you wanted to start, say, at bar 17, you could click there, start recording from there. Likewise, same way with playback.
What's the difference between this bar and this line? I see that they're correlated, but they're not exactly the same.
Are you talking about this one up here?
Yeah.
So this bar up top is a bar to zoom for the overall session. So
so that's like the percentage of the project.
And I think I think out here up to the right is like, bar 300 something. Okay. So
yeah, I'm doing a series of about 3-minute recordings. That's the current project I'm working on. So yeah, it's I don't anticipate need to do that. One thing I'm wondering is like in Audacity, one of like the major things I use is being able to zoom in and out. On that one, it's control and mouse wheel up. Does it work the same way?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then same thing with like up here. I can
yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. And then if you hold shift and scroll your mouse wheel, it'll move you left to right.
Oh, once I'm zoomed in. Oh, that one's not working. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'll keep that in mind if I'm working on a different device.
And one thing you'll notice is our view of the time rulers and the bars beats rulers gets more expanded as we zoom in. So if we were to zoom in a hair, we would actually see bars 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep. And then
how do I pan? Is it right mouse or like click and drag to move the whole time thing?
Oh, you can just click and drag this up there, but yeah,
okay.
Holding shift while doing the scroll wheel should do that.
Oh, okay. You have to be selected on the. Got it. Okay.
But yeah, the further you zoom in, so those are we're seeing individual breakdowns of sub beats at this point. So this is bar 1 beat 1, bar 1 beat 2, bar 1 beat 3, so on and so forth.
Okay, so when it says 1.4, so that's the beginning of the 4th beat.
And one thing you'll also note is down here in this corner, it shows you what note value your grid lines are set on right now. So right now, every grid line that we see is an 8th note.
Oh, okay, got it, because quarter notes are right here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'd want to keep it as close to this as possible unless I'm doing a waltz. So this is gonna be my bread and butter for a while.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's try to get the EWI set up.
Okay.
So
yeah, I've been avoiding plugging it in case I mess something up.
Now Ableton's pretty great about the plug and play aspect of things working pretty right off the rip.
Right. Yeah, let me know when to plug it in.
You can go ahead now.
I may have to change the mouse. I don't know if it needs a 3.0 port or not. Okay, I heard a bidding. Where would I go to see if the MIDI is connected?
Yes, so there's 2 different places we can go. We can go up to the options and the preferences again. And the preferences at the bottom. And then we can go to here where it says link tempo and MIDI. And then we can see that it is plugged in. Cool. You don't really have to worry about any of those other check boxes for right now.
This one, okay, that's good to know because okay, so it looks like the software for the EWI doesn't realize what type it is because I opted for the EWI without a speaker, and it's still saying, oh, look, there's a speaker attached. So that'll lead to a glitch later if I don't check for that.
So we really just need to have track on the EWI in on, and that's just saying that you're going to track with this. The sync and remote would be like if it had an internal clock or if you wanted to like program keyboard shortcuts to it. We don't need that. It's going to raise our likelihood of glitching. Good thing to know though is that it's recognizing it. Awesome. So we can X out of there.
Yeah, I anticipate I may need to use remote to troubleshoot, like if one of the keys isn't working or something. But we'll see.
Awesome. Another great thing about Ableton is its ability to be programmed. So like if there's a keyboard shortcut for something that you need very specifically, it comes with a lot of options to map those to buttons on your QWERTY keyboard or on your MIDI controller. It comes with a lot of that, but I don't anticipate we'll need that. But if we do, I can always talk you through that.
Okay.
So if we go over here to the left-hand side of the screen, there's like this little menu, and you can actually, on that darker line right here, you can expand it out to the right so we can see more of it.
Or all the, okay, good. Everything's maneuverable like that. Great.
So for right now, let's click on the tab that says Instruments. And just for the sake of easiness, we're going to click on this little down-facing arrow beside Instrument Rack. And feel free to pick any kind of category from here.
Let's do trumpet or something.
I will say that Ableton's not super great on like.
Oh, it's playing. It's sorry, I didn't think it would play.
It's not great on straight up orchestral stuff with what it comes with. It comes with a lot more electronic things. You can always have different free. There's plenty of free orchestral instruments you can download.
The EWI came with an instrument pack.
Okay.
How can I get that plugged into this? Because I'm pretty sure it's the same file extension.
Have you already installed that into your system?
Yeah, it's on my device. I can pull it up if you need the location.
So if you'll go to this tab that says plugins.
Yeah, we can do it later if you were on a roll. Oh, we'd have to redo the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, it'll kick us out in like 10 minutes, but we can just hop right back in using the same link.
Okay.
So
plugins.
So it doesn't look like it's quite installed.
Yeah, so it's installed. So basically the software for the EWI is so old that I had to install it with a CD. And so the CD-ROM had me install it locally. So it's probably just doesn't know where it's located.
So real quick, if you'll go back into Ableton, I want to test something that might make it work. If you'll go to Options and Preferences again, and then go to the Plugins tab, and then let's use all these ones that say off. If you'll hit on those.
Yeah, what does VST stand for? Because that looks familiar.
It's basically just the file extension for most plugins. You typically have VSTs, VST2s, and then you have AAX.
Okay. Would I go in Ableton
or? You would probably, go to Ableton. Actually, let's hit cancel on this, and it should, if you installed it in your system.
Yeah, I installed it through Aria. It wasn't built for Audacity.
So let's just hit this on button then. And then let's hit this rescan button.
Oh yeah, maybe. I think we're gonna have to point to it though, because it's located in a completely different program. But I've been told that they're the same file extension. Is this searching my entire system for file types or?
Okay. And it doesn't look like it got it.
Like I think I'd have to go here, like the custom folder.
For right now, let's worry about the plugin after the fact of just making sure we got the EWI working.
Right.
Cool. So we can X out of this and let's go back to instruments. And let's go to like just a basic piano.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of important that I use like instruments instead of electronic stuff. Oh, is it okay if I do strings instead of piano?
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever.
Awesome. So whenever you double click it, it loads it up on the track that you had selected. So we can see right now that it's on this track over here. If you don't mind to just play a couple notes on the EWI. Awesome.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
But it works, which is the good thing. Yeah.
So there's a ton of static in my ear. I don't know if you can hear it through the Zoom.
I currently cannot.
Okay, it sounds like a radio static, like it's an old radio.
Let's see if it's just the instrument you chose. So let's choose a different one because some of them do have that like FM stuff built into it.
Oh, okay.
Is that any better or is it?
It's like an echo. It's like woo 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 woo.
Um,
Like, it's really distracting. I mean, if I can compose with it, I'm willing to put up with it, but it'd be nice to get it, as
yeah.
intended.
Just to make sure that it's not the presets, let's go up to the pianos because I know which ones those sound like. So let's go to piano and keys, and then let's do the there should be a grand piano preset. Yeah. So that grand piano dot ADG.
Oh, this one.
And if you'll try that one.
Oh, you know what? I think it might be the audio output because this one has a ton of static too. What happens if I click raw?
Yeah, go for it. The static shouldn't be caused by the instrument if you're hearing it consistently across the board, though.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent, but okay.
So does it sound like it's like overloading or like staticky or
Staticky? Like it sounds like the connection is off, but you sound great and other things sound great. So
okay, that's a little bizarre. Just another test real quick. If you don't mind to just hit this record button and just record a couple notes.
Yeah, let's try that.
Awesome. And stop it, you can hit spacebar.
Yeah, see, like I couldn't even hear myself. It was so staticky during that.
So if you'll back it up and play it back. So if you'll play it back from there, is it still doing it?
It's still staticky, yeah.
See,
I mean, I'm glad that the notes are showing up, but I can't even hear it.
This is what I was worried about with that DX. So let's go to the options tab.
Yeah, here, let's try that again.
Preferences. And I know that some people have better luck using ASIO instead of DirectX.
Oh, wait, there? Okay, so it's not this one.
Let's try switching it to ASIO first.
Okay. Yeah, I don't fully. Ooh.
Okay.
It doesn't like ASIO.
Yeah, Windows is tricky, man. Okay. So, and then under audio device, let's try
Realtek probably, right?
Yeah. All right, and you can X out of this for right now.
I can't hear you anymore. Zoom pooped out. 1 second here. I'm putting you on.
Can you hear me now?
I didn't like that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're not on my headphones anymore, but
yeah, Zoom and Ableton don't play together very well, especially on Windows. Okay, so yeah, let's X out of the preferences and just do a test of listening back to it and see if it's any better.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Oh, wait, 1 second. Let me try playing. Or do I have to have something selected to play?
Nope, you can just play.
1 second. So some of the grace notes in between notes, the glids is what they're called. Like I'll have to go in the EWI settings to mess around with it.
That and also the instrument you do, like a piano doesn't have the ability to do, like bends and slides and stuff up. So if you were to run on like a synthesizer, something that does have the ability to glide, I'd say a lot of that would be resolved from that too.
Well, as long as I can like fix it up in post, you know, like, well, like here it didn't even here. I'm gonna try deleting this. How do I select just part of a track? Oh,
So
this. There we go.
if
And
that's
then,
select the whole track.
oh, okay.
If you want just to say cut out this last section, you can
Yeah.
click and drag in the middle of this clip to highlight it.
Click and, oh, like click and drag.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then whatever's highlighted, you can delete.
And then that would delete the whole track. Okay, got
Mhm.
it. Yeah, let me try recording and playing something again. 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry, Zoom's reminding me that we're almost out of time. Okay, there we go. So yeah, with that, it sounded off, but when I look at like what was actually recorded, it didn't it didn't record a lot of the in between notes that it was audio playing back. So that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and hop out of the meeting and hop back in since we're at a good stopping point.
Okay.
Same link, and yeah, shouldn't be any issue.
Cool. All right. See you in a second.
See you in a second.